Fellow Toastmasters and honored guests, the title of my education speech tip of the day is Rhetorical Devices. A rhetorical device is a technique used by a speaker to encourage or provoke an emotional response or visual image in an audience through the use of language. Does everyone see that slide?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right,
Yes.
great. So rhetorical devices are very important techniques to use in speeches because they make a speech memorable, they make a speech motivational, inspirable, and most importantly, they are techniques that are remembered by your audience. And for your speech to be effective, you want to have a memorable point or a memorable speech. Now, I gave this speech, I gave part one of the speech a few months ago, and I talked about three other rhetorical devices. I talked about the metaphor, which is a figure of speech in which a word or phrase is applied to an object to which it is not literally applicable. And a classic example of a metaphor is raining cats and dogs, which gives you the visual image of very large, massive raindrops, a very torrential rainfall. The other rhetorical device I talked about the last time was the chiasmus. And the chiasmus are words or concepts repeated in reverse order. The classic chiasmus was quoted from President John Kennedy when he ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. And the other rhetorical device I talked about last time was the anaphora. The anaphora is the repetition of a word or phrase at the beginning of successive clauses. And one of the most famous anaphoras can be seen in or heard in Dr. Martin Luther King's speech when he said, "Let freedom ring from the prodigious hilltops of New Hampshire. Let freedom ring from the heightening Alleghenies of Pennsylvania. Let freedom ring from the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado." So you see each sentence is started with the same phrase, "Let freedom ring." Is everyone seeing my slides? Okay, great. All right, so I'm going to talk about three different rhetorical devices today. One is alliteration, the simile, and the epistrophe. Alliteration, simile, and epistrophe, three rhetorical devices. First, alliteration. Alliteration is the repetition of consonant sounds in two or more neighboring words or syllables. The classic example of an alliteration phrase is the tongue twister, Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. A peck of pickled peppers, Peter Piper picked. How many can say that 3 times fast? Okay, here's another one. All's well that's ends well. So you have the repetition of well and well in the beginning and the end of the sentence. I like this alliteration sentence. Smart speakers sprinkle their speeches with carefully chosen power words. So you have the alliteration of the S sound, the smart speakers, and also carefully the C sound with carefully and chosen. So again, these are things that you will see in a lot of popular, famous speeches. The next rhetorical device I'm going to talk about is the simile. The simile is a figure of speech comparing one thing to another thing of a different kind to make a description more emphatic or vivid. And you've all heard examples of similes: brave as a lion, cold as ice. We know a lot of people like that. Sparkles like a diamond. So similes are connecting two words, usually by the word as or by the word like. And finally, the epistrophe. The epistrophe is actually the opposite of the anaphora, the repetition of a word or phrase at the end of successive phrases, clauses, or sentences. So the anaphora, like in the Martin Luther King speech, we had repetitions of phrases at the beginning of a sentence, and here in the epistrophe, we're repeating at the end of the sentence or phrase. So an example, you probably all heard from, this is from the Constitution or from, is any lawyers here? Where is this from? It's some legal document. Of the people, by the people, for the people. So people at the end of each phrase. Face the dawn, fear the dawn, own the dawn. This is from a religious a document. I'm not really sure which one. And another one, this is my favorite. I want pizza, he wants pizza. We all want pizza. Everyone likes pizza. Can't go wrong with that one. So in summary, I've talked about 3 rhetorical devices: the alliteration, the simile, and the epistrophe. These are all used in great speeches, and you can use these in your speeches to make your speeches great as well. The end.
Fantastic